IRA. Put some away for that rainy day. Listen good and I'll tell you how to invest with NASDAQ and the Dow. For money's tight, you don't need to worry.
Got that right.
You're on the money. Life's getting better like the lottery. Got peace of mind and security. Plan for the future, plan for the day. Gonna make a fortune any day. Do yourself a favor, turn it in and see.
Got that right.
You're on the money.
Okay, welcome back, viewers. Aidan Doyle back with you, hosting yet another episode of the On the Money Show. It's getting to be a habit, but before we go any further, I should tell those viewers expecting to see the schedule episode, which was A Night at the Opera, the Alberto Vilo story. We are no longer shooting that episode today. We have had to reschedule, and once again, in keeping with a pattern that's emerging, this is because the markets and circumstances have preempted us recording that show. Basically, let's get straight to the point. If you're anyone like me, you watch the markets intraday, and you probably know that the fundamentally huge story that's out there in the marketplace right now is the malaise in Detroit. It's the story of General Motors, and it is what is seeming to be a qualification that has been placed on their going concern status by their accountants. What that means in English, ladies and gentlemen, is their accountants are saying we can't categorically state that this company is solvent. We are no longer prepared to sign a audit report saying that they are liquid and they will remain in business. So that is obviously not too good news for any company, and it's meant the stock, GM itself, is trading at a 75-year low. Bottom line, it's trading at $1 and change, and GM has been, I believe, one of the original Dow stocks, and you don't get much more fundamentally bad news than that. Okay, I'm going to try and make this short and sweet. I don't want to just copy or mimeograph the news that you could get on Yahoo Finance or on CNBC or in the financial press or the internet or any other search engine. That's not why I'm doing this show. I want to try and make some sense of it. So I'm going to take a little time out today from my usual presentation, and I'm going to change things, and here's why. I always indicate to you guys, meaning my viewing audience, that this show was put together to create a dialogue between me and our production staff and you. That's the audience, by the way. Today we're not going to do that. Today I am going to personally put my spin and give you my interpretation of where we stand globally, financially, in the credit markets, in the equities markets, who can do what to remedy the situation. I'm not going to do what the press seem to be having a field day doing, and that's throw stones and attribute blame, but I am going to suggest some options that will get us out of the financial quagmire we are in. Okay, first things first. I was really looking forward to doing the Alberto Vilo story, by the way. I had the whole production, and I use that word advisedly. Just before we get into this show, I'll tell you right now, we are definitely going with Alberto Vilo, The Rise and Fall. It's a great story, and we're slated to produce that next week. So those guys that are tuning in to see that, hold on to your hats. We are definitely coming out with that show inside the next 10 to 12 business days. Okay, this show is not Alberto Vilo. This show is as follows. Stay with me. This show is about a paradigm shift. Now, you may vaguely have seen that expression before. I will define it for you. A paradigm shift is a fundamental change in attitudes. It occurs in philosophy. It occurs in religion. And believe me when I tell you, across the global economic landscape, it is occurring right now. Guys, I've spent the last 6 shows, unbeknownst to me, and I've just noticed the pattern, trying to get a handle on what the quote-unquote investing public is thinking about the markets, the players in the markets, the Ponzi scheme operators, the governments of the day, the treasuries of the day, the credit markets, and I'm here to tell you, there's not a great deal of confidence out there. So this is just fuel on the fire of an already overworked and over-leveraged system. Okay, let's talk about remedy, let's talk about cure, let's talk about where we go from here. I'm going to use my blackboard. First things first, what can be done and who should be doing it? I want to say, I'll give a shout out to someone very quickly. There is a gentleman on New York Daily News called, I beg your pardon, I can't remember his name. Errol Lewis, I'm sorry Errol. Errol Lewis wrote a great article in the Daily News of yesterday, or it may have been the day before. And he said, and I quote, if we as a community, and by that I define the American investing public or the American population, etc. If we want to get out of this mess, we have got to exhibit some financial maturity. That means you cannot say, hey, you got my money, let's hang him up by the yardarm. You cannot say, let's vote in this guy because he has poor tax returns, let's move this over here, let's do that, let's blame him, it's his fault, why aren't I getting these breaks, how comes that guy's getting that? That is not the way to go. You are polarizing all the forces that you have at your disposal, and you're minimizing your ability to do a global or make a global recovery. Just a second, please. Okay, first things first. I get input from all kinds of places as a result of having this show, and as a result of the work that my financial interests and the fact that I still am professionally in the brokerage business. People are asking me, and I'm dead serious when I say this, if I think that capitalism as such is on its way out, if I think that the government are going to be basically nationalising the banks and the municipalities and the utility companies, and if I think that we are heading towards a socialist / communist state. Now guys, I'll be quite frank with you, you're going to get these kind of scaremongers no matter what happens, okay? It's just the nature of the media. It's just, the American experience. The answer to that is, for the record, and I'm on camera, of course, and I've said this in previous shows, of course capitalism is with us here and it's here to stay. Since I was a child, I've known, and my father told me, and I'll share it with you, that communism, and I'm not getting on any political platforms here, doesn't work as a concept or as an ideal because it's contrary to human nature. People always want to do better than their counterpart, than their peers, and than the guy that lives next door. And the American capitalist model is just too ingrained and too long in the tooth to change overnight. So the answer is, we know we don't want different things, but what do we do to change where we are and move ahead? Here's what you do. Firstly, whoever you are watching this, if you're in Chicago and you're a cab driver, if you're in Brooklyn and you're a short order cook, if you're a money manager, if you're in Africa, we go out on the internet streaming content, and we are delivered to a tremendous amount of TV and content driven websites. So it could happen that you are watching this in a continent other than the USA. Whoever you are, it is important that you understand, don't look around and try to attribute the economic malaise that we are in the middle of to somebody else. Excuse me for saying this, it's not only you can put out forest fires, but it is this. You're probably, even in a subtle or subliminal way, contributing to this mess by a combination of factors. More like